that they're changing my voice. First of all, remember Exodus 15:3 said that the Lord is a warrior, the Lord is his name. 1 Corinthians 4:20 says, for the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of God, is not a matter of talk, but of power. Okay, so the Lord is a warrior, right? It's this warrior power. And it's righteousness, obviously. Proverbs 16:12, kings detest wrongdoing, for a throne is established in righteousness. Proverbs 17:2, the next chapter, okay, less than a chapter away, going verse by verse, it's like, about a little over half a chapter away. It says, a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family. So it's talking about righteousness. Now we go 5 chapters after that to Proverbs 22:29. It says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. So God in his own right is like a king. So in a sense, God is the King of Kings. And that title is kind of shared with me as the King of Kings, but God is God and God is greater, right? But no one else, okay, no one's equal to me. God is greater, goes God than me, than everyone else, okay? And everyone else on this planet alive right now is in rebellion, and my parents are blameless. Okay, so a prudent or diligent, someone who scrambles to do the right thing. Now in the military, do they scramble to do God's work? No, they scramble to do the work of the state. So it is with law enforcement. In American martial arts, do they scramble to do God's work? No. So it is with the Eastern martial arts. They scramble to learn that system, to conform, to do their day-to-day activities. They don't scramble to do God's work. They don't scramble to be morally precise. They try to conform and fit in the position they're in. And we see in Micah 3:8, this is overkill, the difference where it says, but as for me, they're all doing something else, but as for me, I am filled with power, with the Spirit of the Lord, and with justice and might, right? Moral might, martial might, to declare to Jacob his transgression, to Israel his sin. We see in Hebrews 11:32, it says, and what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, and Jephthah, about David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouth of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned to strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies, and it ends by saying, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Are these people relying on psyops like the state and the military and the groups that are trying to look good? Okay, let me tell you about these groups that are trying to look good. I'm sure we can all agree this has to be said. They are the friends of the world. They're accepted by the world. And in James 4:4 it says, you adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. That's not being righteous. You can't establish the throne in righteousness by conforming. Right? Isaiah 11:5, righteousness will be his belt and faithfulness the sash around his waist. Okay, so they're conforming. And so are all the churches, mosques, and synagogues. They use mere theater arts, propaganda, psychology, okay, deception, falsehood. They cheat people. They cheat me out of my right to lead. They won't debate me publicly. They know these arguments are open and shut, and they won't give me my rightful place, and they won't debate me publicly. So what they're doing is like, say we're all on a plane, right? I'll make what to them is a dramatic example because they don't have faith in God. But what's going on here is actually far more dramatic than the example I'm going to make. So say we're on a plane, and then I'm the only one who knows how to fly the plane, okay? And there's a child that they think is cute. And they say they don't want people to look up to me, so they want the child to fly the plane. But the child flies the plane, it's going to crash, we're all going to die, what have you. So they form a protective barrier around the cockpit and have the child fly the plane while they're looking at me hard. The plane crashes, we all die. Why is that stupid? Well, in that example, the kid wasn't prudent enough to learn to fly the plane before they, insisted on flying the plane. The people there weren't prudent enough to learn what was right and what was wrong in that situation. They're disgraceful. That's why Proverbs 17:2 says a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and share the inheritance as one of the family. If those people are about to cry about how they're white or Jewish or LGBT and there's a massive LGBT movement going on, does that make it okay? No. That makes it more disgraceful. Now, not only are they doing the wrong thing, but they're doing the wrong thing pointing directly to their group, subtly and otherwise, and saying, because I'm a member of this group, that means we can stop the pilot from flying the plane because we think this kid is cute. That's sick, right? That is sick. What's going on here as they damn their families to hell, as they form protective barriers that prevent me from bringing people to God, okay? They're far worse than the people in that example on that plane. Now let's say there was twice as many people on that plane, or the same amount of people, but they're stronger. Should they not beat the dog crap out of those people and remove that kid forcefully, if necessary, from the cockpit so the pilot can fly the plane? Let's say there's half as many people. Okay, and again, I'm not advocating violence, but you need to understand how serious this situation is. Even if they thought there was close to no chance that they'd be able to overpower those people and put the pilot in the cockpit, they're better off doing that than sitting on their butts and letting the kid crash the plane. And we look at this situation as you see people cower from their responsibility. The Bible ends with people being surrounded by Gog and Magog, whose numbers are like the grains of sand on the beach. And fire, figuratively, from heaven comes down and devours the cowards who refuse to man up, who refuse to be on the man's side of the conflict, and went out like bitches when they're going to die anyway. Except for now they live and die like bitches. And the people ruling over them don't respect them. That's why they allowed the coronavirus to devour them. That's why they allowed inflation to devour them. That's why they allowed rich people to be foolish enough to put money over their families instead of insisting that they do what's right. Because they don't give a damn about them or themselves or their kids, like Cronus, who they worship. You look up a video on YouTube, there's a Jewish lady who was a college professor at Harvard or Stanford or some snob school like that. And she says that she believes that the God in the Bible, according to her, is magically El, the Canaanite deity El, who, because he's the father of Baal, and Zeus is Baal's Greek equivalent, okay, and Jupiter his Roman equivalent, is therefore the equivalent of Saturn or Cronus, Father Time, who merged with Cronus and Saturn together, okay, an amalgamation means that he eats his children because of his actions over time. Look it up. Saturn or Cronus eats his children. And there's also Cronus' Father Time. And they say that people often confuse the two. Even if they're confused, that's what's going on here. There's a reason why they have the same name, because it connects together. When you devour your children, you are certainly affecting timing like you wouldn't believe. Their timing is off. Their souls are gone. Their life is worthless. They only have a certain amount of time to rebel against you, like Zeus is said to rebel against Cronus or Saturn, before they're out of time. And their souls are devoured. And the time is in their lifetime, and the time in the bigger picture is also in the timeline of humanity. For example, when all the human race goes extinct, if that ever occurs, time's up, right? But time's up before that. It's up before that. It's up when there's no possibility to do the right thing because you didn't stand with the righteous. And Isaiah 57 says the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil. So we couple Isaiah 57 was Isaiah 11:5. What do we get? Isaiah 11:5 says righteousness will be his belt and faithfulness the sash around his waist. Okay, so this is martial dedication to God. Martial is marital scrambled. Christ is the bridegroom. In Isaiah 57, it says the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil. But he says, you stupid cowards, you son of a prostitute, you son of a sorceress, you sniveling worms. He says, come here and suffer and keep reproducing like a good fool, and your offspring will suffer. Because the devil hates rebels far more than he hates the righteous. Because the devil was first an angel, and it was arguing over the fate of the rebels. That's how he sees it, at least, is what got him cast down. We look at in the Quran, it's similar, if I'm not mistaken, or Muslim mythology, one way or another, Muslim theology. It says that the devil refused to bow to God's creation. So we have this pervasive message in the various religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, that over the people of this earth, the devil lost his place. The sons of God saw the daughters of man and came into them, right? Fallen angels fell out of grace, did something they weren't supposed to do. Satan leading the charge. We see the various Book of Enoch and all this stuff lines up. They all seem to agree that the evil inside of them is led by the devil, and that he despises sniveling punk-ass bitch-made motherfuckers who cheat me out of my right to lead. And we see that in popular culture too. What is the devil doing in popular culture? He's torturing sinners in hell. So is he their friend? No. He's like, you stupid enough to betray God type of bitches and follow the devil type of pussy. He fucking cooks them like the bitches they are. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That forbidden fruit, which is the offspring of rebels. Thank you.